In Chapter 9, we are looking at long-term assets, and we've looked at acquisition of assets and disposal, use of assets, and then disposal of assets. The homework problem 9-38 deals with the use of assets and disposal of assets. Let's first look at the information presented, and then we'll see how we're going to work through the problem. We have Pine Company that has the following assets on Jan 1st, 2017. They have a machine, a forklift, and a truck. They had purchased the machine on Jan 1st, 27 for $71,000. The useful life is 10 years and salvage value is 0. They have a forklift and a truck. They're given us information about those two assets as well. Then they tell us during 2017, each of these assets was removed from service. The machine was retired on Jan 1st. The forklift was sold on June 30th, and the truck was discarded on December 31st. So the asset is ours. We can do what we want to with it. We can use it at the end of its useful life. We can retire it and take it off our books. We can sell it, or we could just abandon the asset if it's worthless. So we have one of each these cases over here. So in Excel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each asset, how you would deal with it. So for each of these assets, the basic information, I have those written down over here. So let's review that first. I have the purchase date for the machine. It was purchased on Jan 1st. The life of the asset is 10 years. The original cost is $71,000. At the time I made the purchase, I expected that at the end of its life, I'm going to get nothing out of it. So salvage value is 0. Using the straight line method of depreciation, my depreciation expense per year is calculated as original cost minus salvage value divided by life. So 71,000 minus 0, which is 71,000, divided by 10 is 7,100. I have depreciated the asset from Jan 1st, 27 through December 31st, 2017. 16, I'm sorry. So we're at the start of 17. So count up the numbers, and just to make sure we know what we're dealing with, we have 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, and 16. I've written out all of these years just so that I can show you the calculation. We have how many years that have passed over here? We have a total of 10 years that have passed. The entire life of the asset is over. So my accumulated depreciation is 71,000. The full amount has been depreciated. Date of disposal, on the first day of the year I'm disposing the asset. Do I need to depreciate the asset in 2017? The answer is no. The asset is fully depreciated. So at the time of disposal, I already have full depreciation. I'm just retiring the asset. The disposal method is retiring, which means I didn't sell it. There's no money I got at this point of time. So my journal entry on Jan 1st, 2017 is very easy. The asset at original cost has to be taken off my books. I'm going to take it off my books so it's no longer there. Accumulated depreciation is a contra asset account. It exists only in relationship with the asset. The minute I retire the asset, I need to take this off my books as well, accumulated depreciation. So the full amount is going off my books. Now let's look at the second asset, the forklift. I purchased for $30,000 on Jan 1st, 2014. So I had the asset for 3 years. I've depreciated it for 3 full years, and then I sell it. So let's write down the basic information over here. I'm going to use a different color so we can see these numbers. I purchased it on Jan 1st, 2014. Life is 5 years. The life is 5 years. I've already depreciated the asset for 3 years. Depreciation expenses original cost is 30,000. Again, salvage value is 0. So 30,000 minus 0 divided by 5, the depreciation is 6,000 per year. On Jan 1st, 2017, I have 3 years worth of depreciation that I've accumulated. That's $18,000. After half the year has passed, on June 30th, 2017, I disposed of the asset. How much will I depreciate in the year 2017? I'll depreciate half the amount, not the full amount, half the amount because I had it for 6 months. Full year depreciation is 6,000, so half year depreciation will be 3,000. So let me first do my journal entry to record the depreciation. So depreciation expense debit, accumulated depreciation on forklift credit, that's going to be $3,000. Now my accumulated depreciation has gone up to 21,000. The previous 18,000 plus 3,000 is 21,000. I sold it for $12,000. So on this day, I'll have to take a look at various things. Again, I'm getting rid of an asset, so accumulated depreciation needs to go off my books just like the previous case, and the asset account will go off my books. I also received cash of $12,000. So let me write down various things. The first is accumulated depreciation. I know that amount is 21,000. The second is I know how much cash I received in this deal. I received 12,000. Skip one line and then I write forklift credit. I'm taking that off my books at 30,000. That's what I had it in my books. I'm going to take it off at 30,000. Now you need to look and see, do your total debits and total credits add up? The answer is no. And the reason is because we have a gain in this transaction. What's another way in which I could have looked and see what this was? Original cost is 30,000, accumulated depreciation is 21. The difference between those two numbers is the book value of the asset. In my books, I had valued it at $9,000. I sold it for 12,000, which means there was a $3,000 gain on disposal. Gain on sale of forklift is $3,000. Let's move on to the last asset, the truck. I had purchased it for $33,400 on Jan 1st, 2012. Useful life is 8 years, salvage value is 3,000. So if it's 2012 that I had the asset, I've depreciated it for a total of 5 years. So I'll start out with this basic information over here. 33,400 original cost minus the salvage value of 3,000 divided by life will give me a depreciation expense per year at 3,800. How many years did I say I've depreciated it? 5 years. So the 5-year depreciation that I have is going to work out to 19,000. That's 3,800 times 5 is 19,000. At the end of the year, December 31st, 2017, I sell the asset. My mistake, I discard the asset. I basically say it's worthless and I'm discarding the truck. As I had it for the full year, I need to take a complete year depreciation. That's 3,800. If you can recall, the first asset, no depreciation because I sold it on the first day of the year. The second asset, I depreciated it 50% for the year because I sold it halfway through the year. This one, I have it the entire year, so I need to do full year depreciation. My accumulated depreciation is now going to be 19,000 plus the 3,800, adding up to 22,800. I discarded the asset. I got nothing, no cash at this point of time. So once again, just as in the case of the second asset, I'll start out with first doing my journal entry for depreciation, which is depreciation expense debit, accumulated depreciation credit, 3,800. And then I'll set up the journal entry for getting the asset off my books. I start out with accumulated depreciation. I know that amount to be 22,800. Leave one line and then you'll take the asset off your books by crediting it. And the asset you had in your books was 33,400. This still had book value. The first asset had zero book value because it was fully depreciated. So this asset, whatever is the remaining amount that had to be still depreciated, that 10,600, we're just going to write it off as a loss. Loss on disposal or loss of discarding the asset is 10,600. So obviously, the first situation is a good situation. I used the asset completely and then I took it off my books. The second one, I sold it and I managed to get some money and therefore I had a gain. In this case, I just discarded the asset, so I just have a loss in this third situation. So what you need to keep in mind over here is you need to depreciate the asset all the way through until the date of disposal. So I hope this laying out the information in this fashion makes it a little clearer in terms of how we do the various journal entries.